When we prospect with integrity, we will get customers who have integrity. Integrity is the foundation from which everything is built on.
You better understand value. But at the end of the day, sales is a relationship business. It is a people business. It is an emotional business.
This is Sales Logic.
This is Sales Logic. You know what time it is? It is 8 a.m. Saturday morning, one of my favorite times of the week. And boy, has 2026 started off crazy. I mean, Mark, you got stuck in Manila longer than you thought you would get stuck in Manila. I dealt with one snowstorm last week, and now I'm waking up to another one. So it's promising to be a very uncertain and challenging year.
But you know what? Sales continues, right? You and I are both on the road this coming week. Somehow we're going to get out. Somehow we're going to get on flights, and we keep going. So that's what is fun about sales. Hey, the topic today, we're going to be talking about how to master the skill of cross-selling. We got a brand new book we're going to highlight, and the lightning round, top 10 ways to stay relevant with your customers. So how do we master the skill of cross-selling? And maybe define it.
Yeah, I was thinking about this topic, and I really love this topic because it's really interesting. I've got a couple of SKOs I've got to do this week, sales kickoffs. And the biggest, always ask the question of my clients, when you look at growth for the coming year, are you more interested in growing with new customer acquisition? Or are you trying to expand share of wallet of your existing customers? And pretty much everybody I'm talking to is really doubling down and focusing on expanding the wallet share of their existing customer base. And it comes down to mastering the art of the cross-sell. So I think one of the ways to start by mastering the art of the cross-sell is to make sure that every single week, some of those customers that you reach out to, some of those prospects you reach out to are your existing customers. Just because you land business, just because you close a deal, doesn't mean that that customer doesn't have more opportunity. And so I think you need to make it a part of your regular reach out to those existing customers.
I think without a doubt, cross-selling is a very efficient way to grow your sales because you've already gone through all of the effort to land the customer. You've gone through all that development work. You've got them. Now, you can serve them better by helping them in other areas. And some of the things you need to look at is, what are some of the other product extensions, service extensions, whatever it might be that other customers that you sell to, have bought. And so that becomes a natural extension. What are some other extensions that, would be fit to help them serve their customers? In other words, all you have to do is just take a look around. There is always additional opportunities. And you know what? When you do this, you're helping your customer. You're helping your customer win and succeed better.
Yeah, Mark, I think you said something really powerful there. And I think if you want to master the art of the cross-sell, you need to stop thinking about it as selling and really start to thinking about it as servicing a customer. Because once a customer buys from you, they've done something very important. They've said, I trust you. And that means that they're thinking in their mind that if you have a product or service that could benefit them, they don't have to reach out to you. They believe you're going to reach out to them.
And that means you really have to always say, hey, 30 days after they purchase from you, you sit down and have a meeting with them. How are things going? What's happening? In other words, you begin to evaluate your performance. So some salespeople are scared to do this. Oh, I don't want to do this because what if they don't like it? Hold it. You got to have that conversation because whether they like it or don't like it, you got to find out because you got to help them. But what this is going to do is open up more doors. Bryn is jumping in. I love her comment. Set the expectation for what comes next early in the conversation. You're right. Because the only good sale is the one that leads to the next sale. When you're scoping phase one, talk through what phase two would look like. In other words, start teeing that up right there at the beginning. When you do that, it's absolutely gold because now they're prepared for it.
Yeah, I love what she added here. And she said, reframe cross-selling to cross-solving. So Mark, when I was thinking about this topic for today, why do you think salespeople have so much trouble with cross-selling? Like, in all the years that I have been doing selling, it's interesting to me that the average number of products or services that a customer has with a company is one or two. One or two. They really don't move past that. That means that your competition is servicing with something else that they need and something else that they want. So why do we as salespeople struggle so much with the art of the cross sell?
I wish I knew. I go back to my days at McDonald's when the easy question was supersize it, right? You supersize it, right? Make people fatter, make people unhealthier. I think they have this tendency because they're almost afraid to oh no, what happens if they don't like what they bought from me already? Is something negative going to come up? Is a problem going to come up? I
Yeah.
was doing a program yesterday for a company which has a tremendous amount of line extensions, and they have baked it into their sales process that you sell them one product and you just keep moving them through, and it's baked into their process. This is what salespeople you've got to, and sales leaders, you've got to bake it into the process, because for this company, it's very natural.
Yeah.
That customer never goes away, never leaves.
Yeah, I blame it on sales training. And the reason I blame it on sales training is because the art of the cross sell is very rarely taught. I mean, as salespeople, we're programmed to go hunt, kill, win, and move on. I mean, if you think about the old traditional sales funnel, it's shaped like this, and you would put prospects in and you would call on them until they bought something. And then you were done and you went and got another customer. So I just don't think we're programmed. But the thing is that the moment that you have sold a customer, two things should happen. Number one, you should be asking for a referral. It's the happiest they ever are. We used to be taught that in financial services, that the moment you made somebody a loan, they were approved. That is the height. That's the happiest they are ever going to be, because you just made their dream come true. It's the time that you should ask for the referral. The second piece is the fact that, again, they trust you. And the worst thing that can happen to you is that a customer finds out about a product or service they want or need from somebody else other than you, because it tells them, well, that was a waste of my time. That person isn't going to service me.
See, I think one of the reasons why cross-selling, upselling has faded away is because of the segmentation of sales. I'm going to call out the elephant in the room. It's because I, the salesperson, land the customer, and then I turn it over to customer success or the onboarding group or customer service, whatever you want to call it, and I don't touch the account again. And I think that is one of the biggest reasons, which means if you do have a customer success team, customer service team, you need to charge them with the responsibility of upselling, cross-selling. They need to own the process too. Now, you don't take that away from sales. I think it needs to be a joint ownership, but everybody in the organization has to be geared. So I look at it, it's the evolution of how we sell, and it's what has fallen through the cracks.
Yeah, I love what Terry Brock is saying here. We hurt the customer when we don't offer them something else that can profoundly benefit them. I think that's the biggest thing to really, think about. He's saying offer, listen, then respond to help. What I was thinking about is I think that most salespeople think of themselves as salespeople. They don't think of themselves as advisors. And if you're going to master the art of the cross sell, you've got to start to think about yourself as the advisor. Like, my job, it isn't the customer's job to know the products and services that you offer. One of my favorite stories about the lack of the cross sell is back when I used to work in healthcare. I had one of the doctors come to me and he wanted to give away all of his glaucoma patients. He didn't want to do glaucoma anymore. And when I got in there and started to look at the number of glaucoma patients, I was amazed at how many glaucoma patients we had that were potential referrals to 2 or 3 other doctors in our practice. And when I got further, those patients were getting those services, but from doctors that were 30 to 45 minutes away. And when I did the interviews and asked them why they drove 30 to 45 minutes to get service, they didn't know that we had doctors in our practice that offered that. Now think about that. They came there to see our doctor, walked through the door, and all the doctors' names and their specialties were on the building. But in their mind, they were only coming there for one doctor. And when they found out they needed something else, they went and found the doctor they needed, not knowing that doctor was right there in the building.
So you think about that. Those customers were going through additional work, additional effort to try to get their problem solved. When those original doctors, that original clinic could have solved that issue right there. You see, what it is we need to create an ecosystem. And I hold up Apple as the ultimate company with an ecosystem. Once you get a couple Apple devices, you can't escape them. You are stuck in their world because they integrate so well, they play so well together, and it becomes a natural fit. And what does that mean? That means then when one of those devices you need to upgrade, you need to change, what do? You tend to stick with an Apple device. We need to have that same mentality. I look at other companies out there. Salesforce has done a great job when they initially came out with their CRM system, and they just kept line extensions. Really, they were service extensions. In other words, how am I going to serve you better? And it created an environment. I hear this from a lot of clients I work with that we're in Salesforce and we're in so deep with them, we can't leave. Oracle, same way. This is what every salesperson, every sales leader has got to be thinking. How do I create an ecosystem that keeps my customers staying with me? That's not being greedy. That's serving them better, serving them more efficiently, helping them be more successful in their market.
Yeah. It's so interesting because back when I was a banker, we used to compete against Wachovia, which doesn't exist anymore. And at the time, Wachovia had this idea that every customer had to be 6 products deep. And let me tell you, when they were 6 products deep, you couldn't move that relationship for anything. Even if they were not happy with Wachovia, they wouldn't move because they're like, oh my God, what a hassle, right? I can't go any further than that.
That is so true because again, you look at banking and you say, once you got a couple of accounts with this, it's very hard to move. So you're not going to move. So what does that mean? I hate to say it, but it means your tolerance for concerns and issues is gonna be greater. Yeah, you're right. But it's how you really sustain your business.
Yeah, I love the fact that Bryn's kind of pulling us back to really the topic, and let's kind of talk about the how. Like, what are the steps that you need to take? She's got a great step here. Internal introductions are key. Use LinkedIn to map the buying ecosystem before you ask for intros. Instead of who else should I talk to, say typically the next step is connecting with marketing. I love that. That's like taking charge of it. I've done my homework. I know Jan or Ray and I would work well together. Let's make the introduction, and it shows intent and reduces friction for your champion.
Oh, that is so true because again, what you're doing is you're developing more relationships, which is absolutely essential. I see too many salespeople. They have one relationship with one customer, and something happens to that relationship, and they lose that customer. Hey, we do need to jump over to the question of the week. It comes to us from Ron in St. Paul. He says, I work in manufacturing sales, and our teams are structured with marketing, inside sales, and guys like me, outside sales reps. And the way it works is that marketing finds us leads, inside sales books the appointment, and we get the business. Very traditional. I think there is more opportunity for inside sales reps to uncover more opportunities than just an appointment. Am I crazy? No, you're not crazy. This goes back to what I was talking about earlier, that everybody has to be on board in terms of truly understanding how best do we serve the customer. Everybody has to be part of that conversation. And I think, and I'm going to rant here for a bit, that person who's booking the appointment, that customer really is kind of at the infant stage. That is the best time for them to find out additional insights, additional information, which they can pass off to that outside salesperson who's going to have the call. So you're spot on, Ron. Your organization needs to adopt a more integrated, or shall I say, cross-focused approach to the customer.
Yeah, I love this. Really goes back to a lot what Bryn said is, Mark just mentioned that they're at the infant stage. Set the expectation. Like, one of my favorite lines to say to people is, Mark, we're going to get this situation handled. Take care of, what you need. Let's get this all closed. Then I want to talk to you about the other ways that we can help you and the other things. Because if you try to cross-sell right at the beginning, the customer doesn't feel heard because they have an urgent need. They have something that they need handled. Like, one of the things that drives me nuts is calling the phone companies. And I'm calling because I want to solve a phone issue and they're trying to upsell me on a phone. That is not the time. Handle my phone issue, then offer me the other products and services. So setting that expectation that you are going to come back. But Ron, another thing I think that you can do that would be really, really powerful is to sit down and write all the products and services that a typical customer could benefit from, knowing they don't benefit from all of them. And then work with the inside salespeople to back into those products. What are the open-ended questions they could be asking? So it would look like, Mark, let's take care of your urgent need. I'm going to get you over to Ron. Ron's going to handle things for you. And then I'm going to circle back with you, do a deeper dive, see what else we can do to make your life better, save you a little bit of money, or give you peace of mind.
And one of the easiest ways to do that is with a story. You share a short story. Hey, you know what? As I've worked with other customers, we've seen this, and you share that 20-second story. Terry Brock jumps in. I love this. Apple does a great job of building the ecosystem that benefits customers. And subsequently, Apple's bottom line, spot on. Google is doing that with their, exactly. What you do is you strengthen your position in the marketplace. And I can't stress this enough. One exercise that I think every company should do is you take all of your products, all of your services, everything that you potentially sell, and you list them. And then next to that, you begin to write, what are the outcomes that you create? What are the outcomes? How does this help customers? In other words, so you've got kind of this cheat sheet that can help you identify the next logical product or service or however it is that you work that is going to fit for that customer. But you've got to keep that forefront in your mind or you will not do it.
Yeah, I think another great exercise to do is to have every single salesperson on your team. And Ron, you could do this with your inside salesperson and write down your top 20 customers, those people that you just love. You don't want them to get to your competition because you need to understand they are on your competition's hit list. Write them down and see what products or services they have and what products or services you think that they could benefit from. And then you and the inside salesperson have that conversation so the inside salesperson can watch you and can learn from you.
It's interesting. This company I was with yesterday, they have a compensation plan. When you land a new customer, you get X amount of compensation, but for each additional product that you sell in, you get a bump. And the bump is figured because, hey, they've already done the heavy lifting of landing the customer. And it's amazing, that little financial bump and the whole focus of their sales process, how they go to market, absolutely works in terms of creating additional revenue and an ecosystem that the customer can't leave.
Yeah. Instead of just outcomes, I would add these or your immediate outcomes upon implementation. That's a great tip coming from Andy Green. And Gina Carr pops in saying, I love this outcomes exercise. Great idea, Mark. It is a great idea. And the thing is that this is the low-hanging fruit. I mean, we did a show a couple of weeks ago on how to fill a dry pipeline. And one of the best ways to fill a dry pipeline is to reach out to your existing customers. Because if you do nothing else but just touch in with them, one or two things are going to happen. Number one, you'll probably get a referral. And number two, more importantly, you will hear a need that they have. I was just saying this to a sales team the other day. Think about December of 2025 versus January of 2026. How much has shifted and how much has changed? Think about what is coming in 2026. We're going to have a new Fed chair. We'll have midterms. The situation with the tariffs are going to be decided one way or the other. There is so much shift and change coming in 2026 that your customers need you out there doing that as well.
And that means it isn't just about staying in touch with the customers who just bought from you. This means going back. There are customers who bought from you a year or two ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and you need to keep staying relevant with them. Have those conversations because, again, you've developed a relationship. Don't let it go south. Don't let it go cold on you completely. This is a perfect opportunity, and you come back in by sharing with them a story of other customers who have purchased in their similar industry, purchased just kind of what that customer purchased, but they also found satisfaction by buying additional items. Again, stories sell, and this is a perfect way to do it when you do the upsell.
Yeah, my amazing salesperson, Teresa, she did this last year with probably 2 or 3 of my past clients I hadn't spoken for in probably 3 or 4 years, and she reached back out to them, booked me beautiful relationships and beautiful gigs. So you're so right. Reach out. It doesn't matter how long ago they were a customer. If nothing else, you just reach and touch in.
And if nothing else, you may wind up with another referral.
Yeah.
There are so many things, but this comes back to this whole thing that we do not close a sale. Rather, we open a relationship, and we have to understand it. Because again, you've gone through all of that work. Absolutely amazing. Wow. We got a great conversation going this morning. I love Bryn's comment, map real success based on challenges and solutions to products. Right. See, this whole thing, it's not the product, it's the solution, it's the outcome. That's what you're helping your customers solve. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I would, if I was trying to get started with cross-selling, in fact, I think this may be an exercise I take into this coming week, just really thinking on Sunday night, who are 2 or 3 customers I want to reach out to this week and have a conversation with. And the conversation can be as easy as, excited it's 2026. At the start of the year, I want to hear what your goals are, where you're looking at what you're updated on. I think there are some things I could do to probably help or support you in those areas. And if I ever bought from you, I'm going to respond to that. I already have a connection. I already have a relationship. I'm willing to have that conversation. But I think the important thing to remember with cross-selling is you need to go in it just like you do with every other sell, with your heart wide open and not worrying about the close. You're there to listen, to solve, and to provide solutions that really help that customer.
Oh, without a doubt. Hey, we got to keep moving along here. We got a great book just came out this week. Carson Heady came out with a new book, Moneyball Sales: How I Generated Over $1 billion in Revenue Using AI and LinkedIn, and how you can too. He's done it. He is one of the top sellers at his respective company. So this is Moneyball Sales. You got to pick it up. How I Generated Over $1 billion in Revenue. So excellent book, just out now. Anyway, you ready for the lightning round?
I am ready for the lightning round.
Top 10 ways to stay relevant with your customers. Go.
Number 1, be one step ahead of them. Obsess over their world.
Number 2, keep bringing them insights relative to their industry.
Yeah, be a problem solver, not a vendor. We talked a little bit about this. Move out of the sales role and become an advisor.
Set up a business review, kind of an operations review. What have been the results we've been able to achieve? Really take that partnership role with them.
Yeah, stay visible with them. Stay in front of them and stay with high value content.
Connect them with other people, other companies that, you don't sell that service, you don't sell that product, but they need it. Connect them with somebody who can help them with that.
Yeah, I think reevaluate your own value to the customer. Like, you need to be thinking about what their problems are currently and reach out with, not to keep in touch with them for them to learn about you, but for you to reach out in a way that adds value to that relationship.
Be mindful when they have major announcements, when they have major things happening that you're catching in the media, LinkedIn, wherever it might be, that you reach out and acknowledge them. Share in their success.
Tie everything they do back to growth or bottom line results. Every reason that you're reaching out, think to yourself, why would this person give me their time?
When you have a new product, you have a new service, you have something that you can help them, get it in front of them. You are serving them. You are staying relevant by helping them.
Yeah, I think if you want to stay really, really relevant with your customers, then you need to be pushing yourself to the next level. You need to be in a constant growth mode. They feel like they need to be staying in touch with you because you're the industry leader.
I love that. We're going to finish with that because, again, you can't stay the same salesperson that you were. If you're not growing, you are dying. Hey, what a great show this morning.
Yeah.
Hey, we've been talking about SKOs and so forth. And if you are having an SKO coming up, reach out, call Mayor, call myself. We'd love to be part of your SKO. Mayor's got some new books out. I've got a new book coming out. And love to be sharing it with you. So with that, we want to say thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. Something we've said has earned you a single dollar. Consider telling a friend about our show because it's how we grow when we help you grow. I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meredith Elliott Powell.
Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity,
all of this uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
and the sale becomes logical.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now go out there, reach out to your top customers, cross the sell a little bit. And remember, if you love the show, leave us a review, and we'll see you right back here next week for another episode of Sales Logic. Until then, go close the deal.